We're going to talk about insurance policies and why it's worth doing a review of insurance policies. What I can tell you as a first introductory, it's amazing what our free policy reviews will disclose and uncover. A review of an insurance policy on a periodic basis, let's use the analogy of a medical checkup. You listen to TV or you listen to your doctors, what they will generally tell you, preventive care is you come in periodically for an annual checkup or a periodic checkup. Don't wait until you're feeling ill. Come in on a regular basis, and we have a trend line. We can watch how your history progresses. Insurance policies are somewhat similar. They are providing coverage to protect your plan and personal assets. They have to respond to changing laws, changing rules, changing case law. If you don't do a review on a periodic basis, you can't have the certainty that you will have the coverage you not only want, but what you need. The purpose of these reviews is to look at the scope of coverage. At least that's our first priority that we're going to look for. How broad is the coverage? Is it keeping current with the rules, the laws, this case law that are constantly evolving? We want to sometimes look at the limits of liability. If we have the data, we can make a judgment call as to whether these limits of liability are appropriate for your plan. What's the premium look like? Is it staying competitive with the market? Markets have trends. They get hard where prices go up in favor of the carrier. They are soft. Prices go down in favor of the insured. We want to see that you're staying current with these trend lines or with the specifics of your own policy. The reviews can help look at all of these issues, and in a final analysis, they help make sure the policy is staying current to protect your plan and personal assets. Yes, let me give you two. In one instance, we were looking at a policy where the coverage for the insureds was limited to those people whose name was scheduled in the application. It limited coverage to the active trustees, all of the historical trustees, all of the plan's employees, any new trustees who might have been appointed during the year, none of them were covered. That's a lot of coverage that's being lost for very important people. Second example, there's a lot of change in the rules and regulations on how fines and penalties are being imposed, where they're being imposed, and what the size of these fines and penalties may look like. When we do our reviews, we'll frequently find that the fines and penalty coverage is grossly inadequate. It's not there, it hasn't been updated, it's just not current. This question is a little bit more difficult for me to answer. There's no real correct rule here. Obviously, when the policies are coming up for renewal on an annual basis, some level of review should take place. So the simple answer is, to some degree, there's a review on an annual basis. When you're talking to your broker, you want to set the priorities. You want to identify anything that's happened that may be important. This helps to identify scope of coverage issues. On a broader spectrum of trustees just saying we need to do this periodically, every other year, every third year, to ask your broker to review the policy to make sure it's current. If you're comfortable with your broker, that should be more than adequate. If not, go to another broker. There's always someone out there who's willing to provide this type of service to you. For us at Segal Select Insurance, we view these free policy reviews is an opportunity to demonstrate our value-added services. For any employee benefit plan, whether you are a multi-employer plan or a public sector plan, you are within our area of expertise. We believe through these free policy reviews, we can give you assurances as to whether your coverage is adequate or not. Scope of coverage, limits of liability, competitiveness of premium. We want to protect your plan assets. We want to protect your personal assets. As I said at the very beginning, if you're looking at the medical analogy, doctors come in to tell you to come in when you're healthy for these type of reviews. You don't want to wait until you're sick. These reviews are very healthy things for you to do as trustees, and from our viewpoint, it helps us introduce the value-added services we believe we bring to the table.